All right, guys, so I previously made a video on how to pull a pool light in like a new pool. So if you didn't have an existing light in the pool, I showed you how to pull that. So this video, I'm going to show you how to replace an existing light. So you already have a light in the pool, it's died, and you need to swap it out. So I'm going to take you through that whole process. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to kill the breaker so we don't get shocked. And then we're going to find the light junction box. So each light has an individual conduit that runs underground and stubs up somewhere, normally by the equipment. And there's a junction box there where all the lights are. So if we look in here, this is what it's going to look like inside the junction box. So each of the lights are kind of tied together, and then one to hot, one to neutral. So right now at this point, the best thing to do is have one person right here at the junction box, and then the other person is going to pull the light out of the pool. And as they pull that light out of the pool, you can identify which conduit that light goes to. So once we do that, then we're going to basically, let's just say it's this light right here, we're going to pull that back, undo these wire nuts, tie a string through it, and then pull that light partially out of the pool. So I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. All right, so we've got the two-piece tool that comes with each light. So you're going to put it together like that, and then we're going to loosen up the light from the niche. So the middle portion, you can hopefully see, fits in a couple notches here. Then the outside portion, you hold the middle part steady, and then you loosen it up. So you're going to go, what, counterclockwise? You're going to go this way to loosen that from the niche. And then once it's loose, you may need to take like a little flathead screwdriver, kind of just get a little bit of a budge on it. And you're going to give it a tug, kind of like this. And then so the person on the other side, when you're tugging, the other person should be able to see which light has a little wiggle on it. So I'm going to give it a solid pull like that. Then the other person should be able to identify which conduit. All right, we were able to identify that this is in fact the correct light, the light that we want to pull, that I was pulling on. So we're going to undo these wire nuts, and again, make sure that breaker's off first thing. You don't want to shock yourself. How's it going? And we're going to take these and just tie a little knot. You want to leave a little room to fit a string underneath there. We're going to tie a knot. Get that decently tight. It's a good idea to take two pair of pliers and just kind of give a good tug right there. We're going to fish a string underneath here. And I just like to tie a triple knot just to make sure it doesn't come loose. We're not pulling this all the way through the conduit. Keep that in mind. We're not pulling this all the way through the conduit. We're only pulling a little bit just to get the light enough out of the niche so that we can cut it and attach a new light to it and then pull it. Once that's done, just for good measure, I always like to take a little piece of tape here. And just secure it so it doesn't come loose. It's really just not worth it if this comes loose and then you got to fish tape through the wire. This helps secure it, so we're gonna, kind of difficult to work in this little space, but there we go. So now we're going to pull the light out from the pool, set it on the pool deck, and essentially attach a new light to the old cord. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. All right, so we're going to take that light and pull it out just as far as we need. Just right about there should be good. We are going to cut that light. And then we're going to strip the wire back. Don't really have to worry about nicking it up too much. And we're going to take the other cord, strip it back a little further. We're going to take one from each light, tie it like that, give it a second like that, get it nice and tight, and that's going to be good. Now do one of these guys just like that, and we are going to do maybe a slight overkill with the tape so it does not come loose in the cord or in the conduit. Sometimes these lights some lights are more difficult to pull than others if the guys that ran the conduit did too many 90s, or if the conduit could be crushed or something like that. But hopefully this one I think is going to be an easy pull for me. So there we go, it's ready to pull. And again, this is easier as a two-man job. If one person stands here and kind of feeds the cord as the other pulls, it's a little easier. But I'll have you walk over here with me to, well, let me grab my tool here. I'll have you walk over here with me to the box, and we'll see if we can pull it nice and easy. I might have to go back and forth a couple times if the light gets tangled up, but you won't have that problem if you're working with another person. So here we go. You can see that's pulled in there a little bit. We'll pull it out. Now we got the cord. Let's see if I can pull the whole thing. I'll spare you the rest of this pull. One little note on this light, some of these lights just thread into like a threaded return. That's how they kind of seal to the pool. This one, you know, you use that tool and you swell this up, and it swells that gasket up inside an 1.5 inch pipe. That's what it's designed for. So I'll show you how that works, but just keep in mind that a little trick of the trade here. If you're installing one of these, turn this until you'll hear and feel a click, and it'll kind of catch. So wait. There, it just clicked into place. I give it a slight pre-tighten, and that's what we want. So now it's ready to be essentially inserted into the pipe that's embedded in the pool. So I got the new light pulled through all the way, and then I'm going to show you just how to swell up that gasket and kind of attach it to the pool. So that middle piece again is going to grab into notches that are in the middle of the light, and then we're going to just tighten counterclockwise. That's going to swell up that gasket and get it to seal to the pool, to the pipe inside the pool. All right, so we've got the light pulled. I'm going to leave a little bit of slack, cut it to length, and then we are going to strip some of the insulation here. And this is kind of usually how I do it. You want to be careful to not nick up the wires inside the insulation. So be a little delicate, a little gentle. Kind of get it like that all the way through, and then kind of do one of these. Pull that way. Pull that way. Boom. Now we're going to use our wire strippers. Strip this guy. Now we're going to take one leg of the new light, one leg from the old light. Twist them together like so. The other leg from the new light, the other leg from the old light. Twist them together like so. Take neutral on one of them. I like to give it a little bit of a pre-twist. A little bit of a twist there. Take one wire nut. Tighten that on there till it grips, and you feel that light kind of pull with that wire nut. And we're going to do the same thing with the hot wire. Twist it together. Make sure it kind of pulls like that. That's good. Now you're good. Now we're going to turn the breaker on, and the last thing I'm going to show you is if you replace an existing Hayward 1.5-inch light like this, you need to go back to the display, take the lights out of Omni Direct mode, and then re-put them back into Omni Direct mode. So I'll show you how that works. So we're going to turn that breaker back on. All right, so I'm going to show you how to take these lights out of Omni Direct mode and put them back in. So we're going to navigate over, there's 2 arrows right here, navigate to config, and then tap config wizard. Now you're going to need the MSP number, it's the password to get into this. So to access that, you're just going to tap system info, and then it's right at the top. So I'm not going to show you on this one, but we'll tap config wizard, put that number in, and then I'll show you the rest. All right, so we're going to tap edit, scroll to the right. We're going to go bodies of water, pool, standalone lights, color lights, and then Omni Direct. Omni Direct is currently enabled. Would you like to disable Omni Direct? So yes. So now it's going to run through a couple minute cycle. I'll save you the time while it runs through this. It might take a minute or two, and I'll be right back. All right, so that process is done. Lights are successfully set to UCL switching mode, which is non-Omni Direct. So we're going to check mark, and now we're going to go back to Omni Direct. Would you like to test for Omni Direct capability? Yes. And then this just takes maybe 15 or 30 seconds. And like I said, if you don't do this whole process, what happens is one light will be in Omni Direct, or all the lights will be in Omni Direct except for the one you replaced, and then they just won't sync up, the colors won't match, and it'll be a mess. So you really have to do this if you ever replace a Hayward color light like this. It's a LACUS. So if all lights connected to the Omnipl are flashing to white, the system is Omni Direct compatible. For all new lights, they are Omni Direct compatible, but the lights, if you go and look at them, will be flashing to like a red and a white, red, white. So we're going to check yes, and then this takes another couple of minutes for this process to go through, so I'll spare you the time on this one too. All right, so when that process is done, this is the screen we get. We're going to check mark it. We're going to hit the back arrow. We're going to hit the back arrow one more time, back arrow one more time, and then the bottom right, there's a little floppy disk icon. Check yes to save and restart. Boom, it's going to save, and then any schedules that are programmed, like a pump schedule or light schedule, it's going to start running like normal, and you're good to go. All right, tested out the lights, and they are working as they should be. So that's it for the video. If you got any value from the video, it's a big help to us. If you like the video, drop any comments. If you're a seasoned pro and you have any tips or tricks to make this process a little easier, drop them in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, and we really appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one.